Hello there, you're listening to the Pinoy MCU Fan, a Filipino podcast where I get to talk about everything and anything Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm your host, Jim. Welcome back to the Pinoy MCU Fan. Hi, everyone. So, for this episode, this is actually the part 2 of my Spider-Man No Way Home episodes. So, if you guys haven't listened to the part 1 is where I just talked about my review of Spider-Man No Way Home. But as a review episode, I made it into like a pros and cons list. So if you guys haven't heard that, just go back to the previous episode and give it a listen. So for this episode, for the part 2 of the series, of the review, um we're going to be talking about the questions that you guys have about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, what I did is I asked a bunch of my friends who've seen the movie, and I also sent out an Instagram story on my personal Instagram and on the Pinoy MCU fan Instagram. So if you guys haven't followed me yet, my podcast Instagram is at the dot Pinoy MCU fan. So follow me guys there, follow me. So I posted a story with a question sticker asking people like if you guys have any questions about the No Way Home movie, please drop it below. And most of the questions are definitely about the plot, about the timeline, and just the whole future of the multiverse. So if you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, this is the part where I tell you to please leave. You can now you can now pick a different episode from my podcast show and go, yeah, just scroll and click on that episode and listen to that. Okay, I'm gonna let you go now. Okay, bye. But if you have seen Spider-Man No Way Home, please stay because we got a lot of stuff to talk about and to theorize. Theorize. Hindi siya ma-pronounce, pero yes. So, manghuhula tayo. No, no. Hindi tayo manghuhula, pero we're gonna just create some, like, predictions. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna predict some stuff for this episode. So, what I'm about to do is I actually compiled the questions that I got from friends and from Instagram. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tackle each question in a what do you call that? In a chronological order. Okay, so I will answer the questions in like kapantay lang. Kapantay lang ng movie sa mga nangyayari sa movie. So, para may flow tayo at para mas maintindihan natin yung nangyayari, di ba? Hindi yung parang I answered something about the end of the movie and then I answered something about na parang, alam mo yun, I don't want you guys to get confused because this topic is gonna get confusing ish, kind of. I mean, if we're gonna talk about the multiverse, it's great to expect that malilito tayo, di ba? So, I'm gonna try my best to make it less confusing as it already is. So, I'm gonna dive right into the questions right now. If you, again, I'm just gonna say, I don't want to spoil people about No Way Home kasi alam ko marami pa hindi pa rin nakakapanood. So, if you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, this is your cue to actually leave kasi I'm gonna start answering the questions now. But if you have seen Spider-Man No Way Home, please stay. 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 Okay. So, for the first question, we're gonna talk about our Filipino king, Ned. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Ned. Because the first question that I got is, how is Ned suddenly magic? Or how is he suddenly magical? So, if you've seen, again, sa No Way Home, di ba, nakita naman natin si Ned na marunong na siya magic. He can conjure portals just like how they do with mystic arts with Doctor Strange and Wong and the Ancient One and all of that. But he can only do the portals for now because he does have the ring for you to conjure a portal, and he was able to conjure that portal. So that was amazing. So nabanggit naman sa movie na parang Ned did ask Doctor Strange, like, hey, my Nana, my Lola said that our family is magic. Like, meron daw kami nararamdaman sa kamay namin. Parang nanginginig yung kamay, may tingle daw yung kamay or something. And of course, Doctor Strange, as usual, he just, dismissed that concern and he just said, like, actually, just go to the doctor. Go have it checked out at the doctor's. But, hindi pala natin namalayan na ayun na pala yung hint. Ayun na yung hint ng No Way Home about sa family ni Ned. So, from that little comment, I guess we can say that, yeah, okay, now we know that magic is nasa pamilya nga ni Ned. Another great, aside from saying that magic thing out loud, I think one of the clues as well is that Lola Lola ni Ned, Lola was unfazed with the portals happening in her own house. Mas nagugulat pa siya na may lalaking randomly sa bahay niya. Pero yung mismong portal na nag-open, she wasn't really unfazed. She was even like happy, like shocked happy, like wow, salamangkero. Ganon. Parang from that pa lang, I guess we can say that if Lola is not shocked, and you know how Filipino grandmas are, madali sila ma-shock, diba? So if she was not shocked about the portals happening in her own home, then I guess we can just say that Lola have seen some magic in her lifetime, in her lifetime. And also this is one great fact. Ito medyo reach na to. But of course, masarap anuhin. Masarap masarap isipin. So, as they were setting up yung scene sa bahay ni Lola. So, of course, in movies, you gotta like do like simple shots of the items in the house. So, from yung tahian, what do you call that? Sewing machine. There you go. The sewing machine stuff, that's very Filipino. Actually, very Filipino American. Because if you grew up with your grandmas in the house, you would know that they always, most of the time, they always sew clothes, they always sew something. They are never not sewing something. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. And but aside from the sewing machine and the cloth over the table and the tiny table dining chairs, um I I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they did a shot of weapons of Morrowind plague. Yung para siyang plague, para siyang ano, yeah, basta plague siya. Tapos meron siyang little weapons from Morrowind dito sa Pinas. Morrowind is I think that's Mindanao, I believe. Pero pero so far, ay not so far, pero ang alam ko, the modern like plague, they do like, cause they do weapons of the Philippines na. Nakalagay pa rin weapons of Morroland, pero they translate Morroland into Philippines. So parang marami kang makikitang mini version sa mga swords natin dito sa Pinas. Yung mga balisong, yung mga itak, yung ganon. Um, I know that they just showed that plague to show the Filipino American, kasi ano rin yun sa part din kasi ng Filipino American Filipino American community yung plaque na yun. Kasi if you have the plaque in your house, plaque, I don't know. Oh my god, I'm sorry. But if you do have the Weapons of Morrowind souvenir item, I'd say, ayun yung obvious na sign na okay, Pilipinong-Pilipino nga 'to, Pinoy na Pinoy nga 'tong bahay na 'to. Gano'n kasi sa Amerika. Aside from having yung yung big ass forks and spoon na pan-display, they also have that Weapons of Morrowind plaque. So, I know that I kinda went off tangent, but in a Filipino American sense, that plaque just represents that, hey, we're Filipino. Pero since MCU fan ako at mahilig ako mag-reach for my theories, no, charot. Not that it's a reach, pero masarap din isipin in a way na maybe showing that weapons of Moreland Plague means that, yung ancestors natin, since mga salamangkero din naman sila dati. Parang witchcraft, not in a bad way, but like, yung ancient history ng Pinas, meron din tayong mga diwata, meron tayong mga, gano'n, alam mo yun, may magic din talaga sa ancient history nating mga Filipino, 'di ba? So, yun, parang masarap lang isipin na, oh my God, like, in a way, I feel like I'm learning more about my own culture. Kasi, dun ko lang din naisip na, okay, maybe showing the weapons of Moreland is like a call out to our history, to our pre-colonization history. Kasi, I don't know, just amazing. It's just amazing for me to see that historical Filipino thing in a Marvel movie. At saka isa pa, napapansin ko kasi sa mga international fans, especially sa Reddit, kasi Ned is such a loved character. So some of them even like, they even theorized that the weapons plague shot is some sort of like shout out daw sa Talo. Talo from Shang-Chi, okay. From Shang-Chi. Or some sort of mini versions of antiques from the mystic arts, yung mga sa Sanctum, kay Doctor Strange. So I'm like, no. So I actually went and dug up like information on weapons of Moreland, and the history of the actual plague is about our ancient history, our pre-colonialism culture. And our culture again is, we all believe in multiple gods, we mga diwata, ganon. So, in a way for me, that scene says that yung magic nila Ned is from our ancestors, di ba? Ayun. So, I guess that's kind of the best way to answer the first question. How is Ned suddenly magic? I know that's kind of a long answer, but trust me, my answers are gonna be super long for the other questions, especially when we go deeper into the multiverse. Okay, so question number 2: What are the runes? What? What are the runes of cough call? Cough call. Cough call. So, the easy answer is it's the forget spell. Yun lang yan. Forget spell. Um, that's basically the super premise of the of the plot. Ay yan yung plot ng Spider-Man No Way Home. But to better understand kung ano ba talaga yung forget spell is to understand how it works. So we all know that forget spell did this and that, and if that spell fails, ayun, multiverse is crashing into your universe. So how did that happen? So sabi nga ni Wong said that spell travels the dark borders between known and unknown realities. It's too dangerous. Again, keyword here is that the spell travels the dark borders between known and unknown reality. Reality or realities. But what I'm trying to say is when you say known and unknown reality, you're talking about multiple timelines, multiple timelines, multiple alternate realities, dimensions, and the multiverse. So, kaya ano, what do you call it? So if you guys remember the the magic of mystic arts is heavily reliable on the universe. Again, it is heavily reliable in the multiverse. So every time they do magic, they pull it out from the other dimensions of the multiverse. Ang ano lang kasi sa forget spell, it goes through unknown and known and unknown reality. Kasi when you use a forget spell, you're basically altering the past. And altering the past is kind of like what? Some sort of like time travel? Not really time travel, but you're tampering the future every time you're tampering with the past. Do you get what I mean? Um well, okay, I feel like I'm going over because the third question is actually connected to what I'm about to say. So, just to wrap up number 2, what are the runes of Kafka? It's basically just forget spell, but every time you do that spell, you are using magic or energy from the dark borders between known and unknown reality. And again, as Wong said, it's too dangerous. So, let's go to number 3. Would off Earth people still remember Peter Parker? Again, would off Earth people still remember Peter Parker? When we're saying off Earth people, we have, if you guys remember, Nick Fury is actually not on Earth. So he's in space, somewhere in space, we don't even know. Sino ba off Earth? Si Peter Quill, the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy, um, Captain Marvel. Yeah, she's somewhere in space. Sino pa ba? Pero yeah, sila pa lang naisip kong off-Earth people. Again, we gotta, I know people online are fighting over this. So, ano ba yung hanggang saan ba yung kaya nung runes of Kafka na spell? Sa sa Earth lang ba yan? Or sa buong universe? Or aabot ba yan sa moon? Or sa US lang ba yon? Yung mga ganong questions. Pero hindi, pero hindi, seryoso, nag-aaway sila kung within Earth lang ba yon or buong universe. So, again, we're gonna go back to Doctor Strange. So, the magic of the mystic arts, the practice of mystic art, yeah, baka naririnig niyo yung papel. I have my notes. I did write down my notes for this. So, if you guys remember, sabi ni Ancient One sa Doctor Strange, she said, we harness, we harness energy drawn from other dimensions of the multiverse to cast spells, conjure shields and weapons, to make magic. Okay, hindi naman siya magic, pero again, it's like they're drawing energy. Okay. So, keyword from here is that energy drawn from other dimensions of the multiverse. And what do they do with that energy? Aside from making shields and weapons and magic, they cast spells. And what kind of spell did we get in this movie? The forget spell, right? Runes of Kafka. Okay. So every time the sorcerers of mystic arts do their magic, their energy, they were able to do magic because of the multiverse, because of the energy from the multiverse. Okay, okay. If kung sa Earth lang nanggagaling yung energy nila, Doctor Strange would not be able to do his magic, his mystic art magic on Titan. On Titan. Yun yung sa Infinity War, yung nasa space sila. You can, I know that some people might argue that he was using the time stone. No, he only used it once sa Infinity War, and that is to look at all of the possibilities that they can do to win. So the rest is like all of him like doing doing magic. Okay. Okay. So now that we explained that, now that we learned that mystic art magic is from the energy of the multiverse, gaano ka-powerful yung magic na yun? Ano yung coverage ng magic nila? If you guys have seen What If, you guys can definitely see how Doctor Strange, there's this, I'm sorry if you have not seen What If, pero please, panoorin mo na yung What If. You guys need to watch What If to understand Multiverse of Madness. Okay, anyway, if you guys have seen What If, yung power ni Doctor Strange, the mystic arts, they can definitely fuck up a whole universe. Again, aside from Doctor Strange being able to conjure spells, shields, and whatever, light years away from Earth, kasi nasa Titan sila. The mystic arts can also fuck up the whole universe. So of course, again, it depends how powerful or how master, kung gaano kagaling yung sorcerer natin. But we're talking about Doctor Strange, and he's the strongest sorcerer in the mystic arts. So he can definitely do whatever he wants to the whole universe. That's basically it. So even though some movie they did say that, okay, wala sa No Way Home na pinangkit na it's for the whole universe to forget who Peter Parker is. Kasi si Doctor Strange, he only kept saying, everyone will forget you. Everyone will forget you. Everyone on Earth will forget you. I don't think he said everyone on Earth, but I think I gotta double check that. I'm sorry. But he just kept saying everyone, 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 everyone. So parang, it's pretty understandable if we say everyone. Kasi parang hindi rin naman, I don't think the whole universe knows who Peter Parker is. It's most likely just, si yung tao lang sa Earth. Tapos like what, 5 people who's off Earth knows him? Make it 10. Kasi marami yung Guardians of the Galaxy. So, around 10 people off Earth knows who Spider-Man is, who Peter Parker is. But it's not like a big deal if yung spell covers the whole universe or not. You get what I mean? Kasi I don't know, I just feel like there's no way to argue yung powers ni Doctor Strange. It's much safer to assume that the spell fucked up the whole universe. Okay, like yung rune spell na forget spell, it was able to cover the whole universe. So, yeah, I'd say yes. Off-Earth people does not remember Peter Parker at all. Okay. They forgot about him. They don't know who Peter Parker is. Nick Fury might see this kid who does spider stuff and he's like, I don't know this kid. I do not know this kid. Okay. So yon. So just a recap. Number 3 asked, would off-Earth people still remember Peter Parker? No. Because Doctor Strange is powerful enough to actually do spells on the whole universe. Okay. Next question. Question number 4. Would his wait, what is this? Would his spell affect everything on the Stark database, AI wise? Okay. Shout out to my partner. He asked me this question. So bale, oo nga naman, everyone. So kapag spell, di ba, very people siya. Parang spell, I'm gonna cast a spell on you, ganon. Actually, this is the part that I'm actually not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure if the spell is only on people only or it also affects like computers and stuff. But if we're gonna talk about kung okay, I'm gonna assume for my answer for this one, I'm gonna assume that the spell is only for people. So people lang makakalimot sa'yo kung sino si Peter Parker. Pero we also have to think that these machines that we have, the AI that we have, they are still entered by us, by people. People are still entering their phones. Parang Pag naglalagay ka ng bagong contact sa phone mo, sino ba gumagawa nun? Di ba ikaw? Di ba ako? Di ba tao nagtatype sa phone mo ng data na yon? So, I think for me, and also for the, alam kong AI, so artificial intelligence yan. Yung artificial intelligence naman, they will also just, ano, they also just save data if, from you. Does that make sense? Like, as a, kunwari kung ako yung artificial intelligence, I will only save your data in my stuff if I see na, ay, may kausap kang ganitong tao, may relationship ka sa ganitong tao. So, I'm gonna start building your data. I'm gonna start building your profile in my database based on your relationships. You know what I mean? So, I'd say that the database would know who Peter Parker is. Like, okay, oh, this guy is Peter Parker, but who the fuck is Peter Parker? You know what I mean? Like, okay, if the AI, if the, let's say, if Stark database is gonna look at Peter Parker, they're gonna like, oh yeah, you're Peter Parker, but we don't know who you are. Because wala kang kamag-anak, wala kang pamilya, wala kang kapatid, wala kang kaibigan. We don't even know where the fuck you live and stuff like that. You get what I mean? Parang, yes, Stark database and the AI would know who Peter Parker is, but they don't have any record, or like the record is not that big. You know what I mean? So I'm not, or we can just say that he's not on the records anymore. But definitely they will find him out sooner or later who Peter Parker is. When I answered this question on Instagram, bigla akong naalala, baka wala siya sa social security system ng Amerika. Kung kawawa naman siya. Paano, mahirap na ngayon si Peter Parker. How is he gonna survive kung wala siyang SSS? Hindi siya makakapag-retire, friend. Very real life, no? Pero, wala din siyang birth certificate kung ganon. Charot. Pero hindi. No, again, I still stand by with my theory na, yeah, the databases would know who Peter Parker is, but they don't have enough information on him to truly know, quote unquote, know who Peter Parker is. Gets ba? Parang pangalan lang yung alam nila, pero they don't have any background on him. So, I think in the future, since sobrang back to literal na zero, he's starting from square one. So I'd say that everything on his Stark database profile is gonna depend entirely on the new relationships that he's gonna develop with new friends, with MJ, with school, with college, with work, with being Spider-Man. So it's definitely gonna depend now on the connections and relationships that he's gonna create. So that's my answer. That's my answer for question number 4. Would his spell affect everything in Stark database or AI wise? Okay, so let I'm sorry. Okay, so let's move on to question number 5. What's going to happen to Peter Parker? What's going to happen to Peter Parker now? What's going to happen in the past? So, pinagsama ko na silang dalawa. Kasi yung what's going to happen to Peter Parker now, parang nasagot ko siya na siya kanina. He's back to square one, so everything will depend on the new relationships that he's gonna create. Relationships and connections that he's gonna create. So, what's going to happen in the past? So, what's going to happen in the past? So, here's the thing. If you mess up with there's a dog outside. So, if you mess up with the past, I don't know. That sounds like a trick question. What's going to happen in the past? But like, What's gonna happen in the past is like they don't know him. They do not know him. So he's basically erased from people's minds. No one knows that he's Spider-Man now. Pero yung parang easy lang naman for me. Kunwari, kung parang alam mo yun, you're like a regular person and you just watch the news like, oh my god, that's Spider-Man. Madali na makalimutan na wala si Spider-Man. Kasi parang siguro, pag iwa-wipe out yung memory mo, magiging parang news, ano lang yan. Parang binabalita lang na hindi lang nila binalita yung balita na yon. Gets ba? Pero what if you're someone super close to Spider-Man? What's gonna happen to you? We don't know kung paano exactly in-erase yung memories nila. Pero I'd like to imagine that it's somehow kind of like, have you guys seen The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? I absolutely love that movie. It's starring, what's his name? Jim Carrey. Like me, Jim. Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. Right? Oh my god. Amazing movie. I love that movie. So basically the plot of that movie is that they erase people from your memory, or yeah, from your brain, from your whole memory. So what they do is like they go into your brain and they like physically, like scientifically erase memories. So what they do, the way that the movie portrayed it is like when you're eating, they just erase the dude from your memory, if that makes sense. So like if you're eating at a restaurant with someone, they're gonna make it seem like you're eating alone at a restaurant. But you're laughing though, because you're having a conversation with a person. It's just that they're not there. Do you get what I mean? So it's like you're happily eating alone in a restaurant. Kahit naman yung totoo talaga is may kasama ka, may ka-date ka. So I'd like to think, I'd like to think that's the same thing with Peter Parker and the people around him. So, parang yung one time na, parang yung sa Civil War, na sa Spider-Man Homecoming, na dinadrive ni Happy si, si Peter. So, since nilagyan mo ng forget spell yon, siguro parang he's just driving alone now. Ganon. Ganon yung feeling. So, we really don't know what's gonna happen to the past. Parang masarap na lang sigurong imagine it on its own. And it is a great thing that we can just, that the writers or the movie left that part of the movie to our own imaginations. So, yun. Yung akin, in-imagine ko para siyang the the Spotless Mind movie. Yeah. Mhm. The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Di ba? Ang ganda. Yon. Pero, etong sasabihin ko sa'yo, ano mangyayari sa future kung if you tampered with the past? Okay, if you guys have seen Loki, actually, if you've seen Endgame and then Loki, that's what happens when you tamper with the past. You create a branch in the timeline. You create a branch of the sacred timeline. So, di ba, sa Endgame, they went back in time. They fucked up the Tesseract mission. So, nakatakas si Loki. And yung pagtakas ni Loki, that created a branch in the sacred timeline in which the TVA had to go in and clean that mess up. So, kaya tayo merong Loki na TV series because of the Endgame, because of the failed Tesseract mission sa Endgame. So, if we apply the same formula, if we apply the same formula understanding into Spider-Man No Way Home, yung pagtatamper ni Doctor Strange and Peter Parker sa timeline nila, kasi forget spell, that's also tampering the past with the past. So, with them doing that and tampering the past, especially with someone as famous as Peter Parker, Spider-Man, they definitely created a bunch of timelines, new branches of timelines in their main timeline. Does that make sense? So every time na meron kasi ang dami buong mundo yung win-hype out nila, guys. O let's say buong universe yung win-hype out nila. And with the importance of Peter Parker Spider-Man, napakalaking tampering in the past yon ginawa nila. So, sa pagtatamper na yon, we can assume that each person and each time na na-forget, sabihin natin na-forget kung sino si Peter, that moment pa lang, nag-branch out na yung timeline. Ay, baka nalilito na kayo. If you guys are confused, you guys should definitely watch Loki. Nandun. Sa Loki TV series, doon nila in-explain lahat about the multiverse, yung mga timeline, branches, nexus events, um, multiverse nandoon talaga. Yung importance ng balance in the multiverse and not tampering with the past. Nandun talaga sa Loki. So, go watch it, you guys. It's one of my favorite TV series. Actually, it's my favorite Disney Plus Marvel Studios TV series. So, you guys should definitely watch that. So, just to conclude that question, what's going to happen in the past? Tampering with the past will result in branches in time. So that's multiple timelines, alternate realities, alternate universes, parallel universes that can become its own universe. So that makes sense. Kasi pag nag-branch off yung time, and it kept branching off, it's gonna be its own universe. Okay? So what's gonna happen to the future now na ang daming nangyayaring tampering in the past dahil lang nakalimutan nila si Peter Parker? Well, that is where multiverse of madness comes in. So doon natin lahat malalaman kung ano ba yung consequences ng paggawa ni Doctor Strange ng forget spell on Peter Parker. For Peter Parker, he basically did the forget spell for Peter Parker. So I'm super excited for Multiverse of Madness because as you can tell, I am a nerd. I love talking about multiverses and timelines and time travel and time loops and all of that. So we're speaking of multiverse, let's go to our sixth question. Why isn't Venom shown as much? What happened to Eddie Brock? Meron nagtanong sa akin, what happened to Eddie Brock? Where did he go? So, to answer that question, I hope you guys have seen Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It's an amazing movie. I liked it very much, and I love how gory Carnage looked like. It was so awesome. I absolutely love Venom. Ang cute kasi ni Venom. Yeah, he's very anti-hero, and he's a bad guy, but he's also good, and he's just charismatic as an alien species. And so if you guys have seen Venom Let There Be Carnage, meron yung mid-credit scene nila is yung nagbabakasyon kasi si Venom at saka si Eddie sa Mexico. So, nanonood lang sila ng TV sa hotel room nila. When suddenly, bigla silang na-transport sa universe natin. Nanonood sila ng telenovela sa TV. Tapos biglang naging balita na si Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Tapos yung pagmumukha ni Tom Holland nandun. So, yon. So, if you guys remember, again, just to repeat, mid-credit scene ng ng Venom letter B Carnage is na-transport si Eddie and Venom sa universe natin. We're to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, we can assume that something about the alien species is weird. Actually, in the same mid-credit scene, Venom told Eddie 80 billion light years of hive knowledge across universes would explode your tiny little brain. So, keyword here, 80 billion light years of hive knowledge across universes. Across universes. Universes is the plural form of universe, which means multiverses. So, oh my god. I sound crazy, but actually that means that Venom, yung species nila ng alien, yung species niya ng symbiote is actually they have a multiversal hive mind. So, yung knowledge nila, yung pag-iisip nila transcends time, universe, and dimensions. So, even that. So it's they know everything about everything. They know the secret of the universe. So we can assume that the reason why Sony's Venom franchise is is teleported to the Marvel Cinematic Universe because of Toby Maguire's Spider-Man. Nung sa Spider-Man 3, 'di ba, naging Venom din siya. Nalagyan din siya ng Venom. Okay. If you remember Spider-Man 3, actually napatay ni Toby yung yung alien, yung black symbiote, 'di ba? Pero sa multiversal hive mind kasi, kahit namatay na yung yung sample ng symbiote na yun, naalala pa rin nila. So, parang na-save lang din nila yung memories, di ba? Pero, we also have to remember that multiversal to. So, kahit hindi pa namamatay or hindi pa nangyayari, alam na din nila yon. Gets ba? So, parang they know that it will happen. So, they can, it's a way, in a way, parang siyang prediction. Parang siyang actually prediction of the future. Pero, I think, knowing Venom, parang depende rin pala sa symbiote kung gusto ba nilang gamitin, kung gusto nilang isipin yung mga secrets nila, ganon. Parang nasa choice na lang siguro nila yun kung gusto nila gawin. Kasi if you guys can tell, they didn't even know who Spider-Man is entirely. Parang more like memory lang siya like memory lang. Ay, parang alam ko to, pero hindi ko ma-explain. Parang ganon. So, I hope that answers. So, number 6. So, kaya nandun si Eddie is because of Venom's symbiote, multiversal hive mind. Diba? Okay, let's move on to number 7. This is actually the last-ish question that we have for today, for this episode. So, what's going to happen to Doctor Strange? I got this question a lot because everyone is super excited for the multiverse of madness, and basically that's my answer. I don't know what's gonna happen in Doctor Strange. That's for multiverse of madness to answer, but I can definitely say that I feel like Doctor Strange should not even know why he did that spell in the first place. I think he would I I I theorize that he would know that he did the spell for Spider-Man, but he wouldn't know why. I think he would know. It's pretty easy to like deduct naman na parang okay, if I did this forget spell for Spider-Man, why? Spider-Man probably didn't want the world to know who he is. So, okay. Pero siguro, magugulat na lang siguro si Doctor Strange na parang, why did I do this super dangerous spell for a random stranger? Did we have some kind of connection or relationship? Why did I do this super dangerous spell for him? So we don't know. And I don't know too. I don't know, but one thing that I'm super sure is that Multiverse of Madness is gonna be insane. It's gonna be amazing. Especially that I love multiverses and I love timelines and I love the concept of like alternate realities, alternate universes. Oh my god. I'm super excited. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah. What's going to happen to Doctor Strange? I don't know too. I have no idea. I have no idea. But one thing's for sure that what he did with the forget spell for Spider-Man is such a big, big, big no-no. Kasi 'di ba nakapasok ngayon, nakalusot yung mga nakalusot yung sila Andrew, sila Toby, sila Willem, sila Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, tapos sino pa ba? Si Jamie Foxx nandun. So parang he fucked up big time. He fucked up big time. Pero if you ask me if what if tama naman yung paggagawa niya sa spell? What if hindi niya naman pala na botched? I think it's still wrong. He will still be reprimanded for that. Kasi ang daming universes na maano, ang daming branches of realities and branches of the universe na magagawa from just doing that spell, 'di ba? Pero of course, since this is a Marvel movie and they're all about like blockbusters and all that. So I'm pretty sure they will most likely press him about fucking up the spell. Kasi ang daming kaaway ni Spider-Man eh. Magagawin nilang battleground yung New York. New York, New York. So, yeah, that's my answer for the last question. Now, what's going to happen to Doctor Strange? Um, so that's basically the final answer. But for the final part of this Spider-Man No Way Home episodes is that I'm gonna read some comments from friends, and this is what they said. Um, I just didn't like that Spidey's capabilities surpassed Strange's powers. Peter is dumb for asking Doctor Strange again for help. Doctor Strange is not Doctor Strange. So that's actually three comments with the other one being far more different from the other two. Um so hindi nung una, I didn't understand what my friend meant when they said that. I just didn't like that Spidey's capabilities surpassed Strange's powers. But I think what they meant is that hindi sila makapaniwala na Strange did what he did just to help Peter Parker. So parang yeah, it's very not Doctor Strange's personality to help random people like that. I mean I know they did spend time in space, but I think it's not that enough to drop everything for a kid. You know what I mean? So I understand the frustration that somehow that Peter Parker got what he wanted from Doctor Strange, even though he fucked it up multiple times. But yeah, I do find it strange as well. Wow, Doctor Strange is strange. But it also makes sense because he was blipped for like 5 years, and I feel like it softened him in a way that like you know what, I don't give a fuck anymore. We don't have Thanos anymore, which is the biggest threat of our universe. Um, I don't even have the time stone anymore, so might as well fuck it. I feel like parang nasa fuck it stage si Doctor Strange ng buhay niya. Ganon. So I don't really know how to I don't really know how to justify Doctor Strange's mm, medyo pagka ano niya dito, pagka softy niya dito. Pero yeah, ever since I saw the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home last year, I was also really really mad at Doctor Strange for doing what he did. Cause like, dude, you're a doctor. Aren't you like an award-winning surgeon? And now you're like the super master of the mystic arts, and then suddenly you're gonna do this super dangerous spell for a kid just cause what he's been through much. Like, that's kind of weird way. It's pretty like parang bigla lang nawala yung morals and logic ni Doctor Strange here. But then again, I think it makes sense for someone who got blipped. Kasi 5 years ng buhay mo nawala eh. So might as well. So maybe might as well help this kid not lose more of his years. Kasi nawala nga din siya ng 5 years over the blip. I don't know. But yeah. But also, hindi lang naman si Doctor Strange yung medyo dumb dito, 'di ba? Sabi nga ng isa kong friend, Peter is dumb for asking Doctor Strange agad for help. Well, what are we gonna expect from a kid who has super people around him? You know, bata pa siya, he does not know the responsibility it takes to be a superhero. So again, for me, everything that happened before the iconic responsibility talk, we are bound to expect that. We can safely assume that Peter Parker is gonna be dumb, tanga, naive. So sorry. Just to be for real. Um just to be realistic lang kasi again, just like what I talked about in my last episode in the part 1 of the Spider-Man No Way Home episode, ganun ganun talaga, parang bata kasi siya. He doesn't know shit. Um he's super reckless until the point that he hears that with great power comes with great responsibility. So, yeah. So, tanga talaga si Peter. Tanga si Peter siya kasi Doctor Strange. I still find it funny how he didn't call the MIT counselor, admissions chancellor first. So, yeah, I guess it's just natural for a kid to be dumb. Especially that he hasn't gone through the trauma yet. Pero yeah. And for the last part, yung last part na they said that Doctor Strange isn't Doctor Strange. If you guys have been active on Reddit, on TikTok, and on Twitter, you guys are gonna see a lot of like theories saying that si Doctor Strange is not the Doctor Strange. Variant lang yan kasi again, the Doctor Strange that we know would not do something so careless over a teenager. But for me, I think that's just our Doctor Strange. That's our real Doctor Strange. Hindi siya variant, hindi siya some sort of hindi siya hindi basta siya talaga si Doctor Strange. Siya yung Doctor Strange natin. He's not him. It's not him. Gets ba? Um Kasi I don't think variants is kayang eto na naman. You guys really have to see Loki the TV series kasi people are just throwing away the term variant as if it's like, you know, as if it's something that is ano kasi yung term kasi ni variant is nagiging variant ka lang kapag nahuli ka ng TVA if you like did something that is not supposed to happen in your timeline. Kung hindi siya pre-approved ni He Who Remains. He Who Remains. So, I don't think I also think the reason why Doctor Strange is the way that he is in No Way Home is because there's no who remains to approve all of his like decisions in life. So yeah, we can definitely theorize that No Way Home happened and the multiverse of madness is happening because Sylvie from Loki killed He Who Remains, and we do not have the TVA anymore to supervise the timeline. Gets ba? Again, we do not have the TVA to supervise the sacred timeline of each universe in the vast multiverses. I sound like a crazy person, but yeah, that's how it works for the MCU. Um, I cannot I don't have an answer for the last part that I am truly confident in, and I cannot explain why, but I am going with a I'm going with a theory that Doctor Strange is still Doctor Strange. He's not a variant. He's not someone from a different universe or anything. He is our Doctor Strange, and it just happens so that in this universe, he made that decision to help Peter Parker. So that basically concludes today's episode. This episode. So if you guys love this episode, I'm gonna leave more notes in the description box below so you guys can read more about these theories and these answers. And yes, I did do my research for this question and answer portion. I actually I actually wrote them down, and even word for word yung mga linya nila One, Ancient One, and Venom. So if you guys want to learn more and read more about multiverse and some of the theories that I mentioned in this podcast, I will link them below, all below sa description box. And I just want to say that all of the things here that I just talked about are all my theory, I guess. Hindi naman sa inaangkin ko yung theory na to, pero I did research about it, and then I came up on my own with these theories. But I'm gonna try and find actual articles that support my theories so you guys can read it as well. And yeah, that's it for today's episode, and see you guys soon. Actually, wait. I actually created my an outro now. So it's gonna start playing in 3, 2, 1. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Pinoy MCU fan. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To connect with me, you can follow me or message me on Instagram at the.PinoyMCUFan. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!